My name's Kevin. I'm a leprechaun whisperer. I talk to leprechauns. I'm the last leprechaun whisperer in Ireland. And this story started 28 years ago. There was a local man called P.G. O'Hare heard a scream coming from the mountain up here, on the Cooley Mountains. And he went up to see who made the scream. And when he got up there, he couldn't find anybody. We know now it was a leprechaun called Owen. And that's why he has his hands up to his mouth like that.
Oh, wow.
But when PJ got up there, he could find nobody. All he found was that all the ground around the place called Slate Rock was burned. And in the middle of the burning, he found some bones. And beside the bones, he found what he said was a leprechaun suit, with 4 pieces of gold in the pocket of it. He brought it down, he showed it to me, and he told me he thought that leprechauns lived up in those mountains. I told him that was rubbish. I told him there was no such thing as leprechauns. And I'd prove it to him. I'd get as many people up on the mountain as I could, and we would search it from top to bottom, and if we found one, I'd believe, but I'd have to see one or catch one before I believe. So to get the people up there 28 years ago, I hid £4,000 on the mountain, punts at the time. And I put £1,000 under each of 4 toy leprechauns like those. And I sold leprechaun hunting licenses for a tenner. And on the day the mountain was black with people that came in their thousands, with butterfly nets and leprechaun traps. And when they came off the mountain, they caught nothing except the £4,000 and the 4 toy leprechauns, and I made 8,000 for me day. He took the suit and the bones, and he put it into a glass case in his pub in the town. It's still over in the glass case, the suit and the bones that he found. And he went to heaven 6 years later, and 2 years after that, I was fixing that wall out there. And I found in it 4 small pieces of gold. And I brought them up the mountain to where he said he found the suit and the bones. And when I got up there for the first time in my life, I saw 3 leprechauns sitting on a rock about that size, talking to each other, having a wee chat. I was scared out of my wits. I couldn't move. I was frozen. I was like that, Ava.
He's frozen.
I had the dog with me, he couldn't move or bark. And it jumped off the rock and disappeared underneath. But I was able to move again. I came down, I told the wife I was after seeing 3 leprechauns. She told me not to tell anyone I'd be locked up. I told everybody. But nobody believed me, not one. And I went back up to see could I see them again, and when I went up this time I saw one, but I was able to talk to him. And he told me his name was Carrick. He told me Carrick means rock, strong. He told me he was the boss of all the leprechauns that were left in Ireland. There used to be millions of them, but now there's only 236 left. And he asked me could I get more people to believe in them, or maybe get them protected as a species, or they'd be all gone. I said I'd do what I could. And he told me the story of their lives. I published it in a book called The Last Leprechauns of Ireland. And while I was writing the book, I lobbied the EU for 6 years. And I finally got them protected as a species by the European Union in 2009 under the European Habitats Directive. That protects flora, fauna and wild animals. And I got leprechauns added onto it on the grounds they couldn't say whether they were there or they weren't there. But they came here to Carlingford in 2009 and presented us with a preservation order for the 236. And every year since, I run the same hunt as I did 28 years ago, only now I put €2,000 up in the mountain. under 100 leprechauns, and we sell licenses for €7, and the money goes to Temple Street Children's Hospital.
Wow.